Hello, welcome to Little Arrow Soaps. We are back. Yes, Midnights, we missed you too. It's been a while, it feels like, but we're all good. We had a fantastic vacation, and tonight we have our drop and all sorts of just kind of catching up stuff. So we're going to start off, go over a couple of our drop items. Oh, and to really start, we have a toy toss for the Grimm and a new camera. Well, it's an old camera, but it's a new camera use. So Grimm has earned his toy. Oh, yes. Gotta get it. Get that mosquito. Because our room is not completely covered in Grimm toys. So, I'm going to mix up some colored frosting for our first bath bomb we're doing tonight. And then we're going to start going over our drop stuff. So, a nice bright purple. Thank you for the resub, Frogman. We enjoy having you guys here and appreciate all the support and everything. Squishy squish. So this is the leftover frosting from our snow globes, or our Eyes of Fate. And the nice thing about this frosting is that I can just rehydrate it and it works again. Okay, it's a nice spooky purple. Let's make a spooky green. And that wire does not need to be over here right now. Oh, thank you. Been phlegmy since we got back because there were no allergies in Alaska. It was nice. So nice. Okay. Get our yellow in here. To get any good green base for those really vibrant greens like I like to do, a yellow base helps a lot. Okay, there's our yellow. Hello, Quick. Welcome on in. Nice to see everyone tonight. Let's see where that gets us. I think that might do it for the colors I want. This frosting is thick. That looks pretty good to me. Spooky blue or purple, spooky green. Yeah, perfect. So now, for the purposes of piping this out, we're gonna thin it with just a little more alcohol. Okay, a lot more alcohol. But it can take a lot. and the alcohol all evaporates out, so it'll be good to go in a day. Okay, our green, and now our purple. Ah, splashing. Ooh, the bathtubs. I guess my green is not green enough for it. Okay. And put my piping tip in the bag. We'll grab a container to put the bag in so that it stands up nicely. Thickens up so fast. So that is kind of the point. So we're just going to gently scoop it into our container here. Trying to keep an angle on it so it doesn't slide all the way down to the bottom just yet. That should be a decent half and half there. So I'm gonna go grab my bath bombs and we'll get those in. Right over on the counter here. Jamie, welcome on in. Getting some coffins together here. little sample glitter here. Okay. Ooh, don't slide into the box. Yeah, okay. Scissors. Yes, we'll go through all the pictures as well as with the stories and all of that. Lots of fun to be had. Okay. Oh yeah, consistency is way too low for the second, but that's okay. Do a builder piece in the middle as we get a little thinner and a little thicker. Do the crochet. You can do it. All right. I think this is set up a little more. So we're gonna very gently start piping some stuff. And we have our little skeleton guys here who keep unraveling their necklaces. And we're just gonna push them on it. So most of these will get a skeleton guy. I thought I had at least 2 more, but it turns out I'm 4 short. But I have little crystal pendants that did not end up working for rupees that will work just perfect as amulets on these. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. It's the leprechaun. Okay. Not bad, not bad. It's a little heavy on frosting on the first one, but you never know. So these little skeletons all glow in the dark, and they're of course little necklaces, which are super cute. come on. There has to be enough. Nice little amulet. Another nice little amulet. So spooky. And next year I order more skeletons. One more amulet. Thanks, Jamie. I like these guys. I think they're adorable. And then, as always, we'll give them a little glitter. Because glitter is spooky, right? I hear you over there, bunny. So yeah. A little spooky dancing skeleton bath bomb on his coffin. Being so cute. And so spooky. A nice, simple one. But they're really cute. And they look cute all lined up. Alright. Clear out this frosting. And we're going to come back to this tray because we have another tray that needs to be painted that's easier. These sugar skulls take a long time, so we're going to do them last. But we got our spooky skeletons done for now. I'm going to go grab the blue or blueberry tray. Heavy boys. Okay, so we have our blueberries, but we're gonna go over our drop stuff real quick because we have quite a few drop soaps. Also, I have lost screen. I have lost screen. I lost screen. Technical difficulties for a moment. Bear with us. We're both going to be out here. Well, at least one of us needs to be able to see. Connect.
Oh, come on now. What are we doing?
Technical difficulties are being resolved. All in time. There has been a change. I see things. I see things. Everything is back. Yay! We're good.
Texas or Halloween first?
Let's go Texas first, because Texas was our release that we delayed due to some of the soaps not being ready. So, with our Texas soaps collection, we're going to start with, of course, the Texas flag. This is our Texas flag soap. This is scented with magnolia blossom, which is the state tree of Texas. And it's such a fresh, light, really nice floral without being like granny floral. So it's a really good one. Can I have a chopping block from the next row down?
Is this guy?
No, I want one of the big ones.
Like this?
That works. So we have the Texas flag. Then continuing that theme, we have Rawhide, which is our leather scented soap with the state of Texas floating around in them. This is a heavy, leathery, dark scent. Really popular with the gentlemen. It is one of those kind of love it or hate it because it's very strong leather, but I really like it, and it works wonderfully in blends. Then we have our bluebonnet soap. This is a field of bluebonnet flowers in bloom, which is the state flower of Texas, and it is scented with the bluebonnet scent, which is a nice peppery floral, little grassy, little earthy, but really refreshing. It smells just like the flower fields, which I love. Then we have our road trip. This is inspired by Buc-ee's, which if you are not from Texas, Buc-ee's is a gas station. And it's one of those things where people will talk about it all the time and you aren't going to get it until you get it. And it's one of those places that if you're driving through Texas, you have to stop there. It's just hands down have to. Beaver nuggets are their version of caramel corn, but they're done with a hulless popcorn. So they're really buttery, caramely, and a little corny. So this is a blend of buttered popcorn, cornbread, and butterscotch caramel. And it's so good. It smells like a Buc-ee's. Then we have our Soap Challenge Club from 2 months ago, our pull through swirl. So this is Bikini Bottom, inspired by SpongeBob. It's a dual-sided bar, so both bars will have a different inverse color pattern on either side. And it's a tropical Caribbean blend of pineapple, bananas, coconut, and lily. It's a really nice tropical fruity scent. Not too heavy, but not light either. Kind of mid-range. Then the last one in this set is our olive oil and rosemary. So this is our basic olive oil soap, but we've added rosemary essential oil and some micas to give it this beautiful color inspired by the blossoming rosemary plant. This is another one of our Soap Challenge Club soaps that I absolutely love. Love how the colors turned out, and it just smells incredible. The rosemary goes so well. It smells like good Italian bread. Like when we were making this, our house smelled so good. We made gardenia and that on the same day. And the best, absolutely best. Now, moving into our Halloween collection, we have a couple of returning favorites. We, of course, have our Poison Apple, which is a glow-in-the-dark apple-scented soap. It's a nice, crisp apple, and the drippy face and piping on top all glows green in the dark, which is absolutely beautiful. We also brought back a simplified version of our Weirdmageddon soap, inspired by Gravity Falls. It is a spicy cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, as well as hardwoods and clove, and just overall a beautiful spice blend. But then we mix a little bit of lime into it to really brighten all those heavy spices. And it gives a really interesting blend because it's not just one or the other. It's citrusy, but also spicy. With a new design this year, we're bringing back our Jack's Pumpkin Cake, inspired by the full moon rising over the graveyard in Jack's Halloween town. This is a pumpkin spice cake scented soap. It's hard to find a cinnamon that's safe for skin, but we did find this one and it's really good. So, cinnamon, vanilla, buttery, frosting kind of smells in there, but very earthy and warm. This is one of our best-selling Halloween soaps. It's just so good. New to our collection of Tim Burton inspired things, we also have Till Death, which is inspired by The Corpse Bride, with little hints of Disney's Haunted Mansion in there. We've got our lace and our roses and our butterflies, and of course our bride's skeleton sticking through her beautiful dress. This is a blend. This is a blend of our Poison Crocus Flower and Midnight Romance. I love how the colors turned out compared to the color scheme in the movie. Just turned out so great. So Poison Crocus has been one of our best-selling new fragrances this year, and we've blended it with a few things, and it works so well. It has this kind of, like, when you've had roses in your house too long and they start to die, but they still smell great. It's more of that side of the rose scent, as well as lily, bergamot, and kaffir lime. Then, for our last Tim Burton-esque inspired soap, we have our Say My Name, inspired by Beetlejuice. This one also has the glowing green drips and is crowned with a bunch of candy soap. We've got gummy worms, gummy bears, hard candies, and candy corn, all made out of soap, all absolutely adorable. And this one is a candy blend. It has a base of sweet tarts, green apple, blue raspberry, and watermelon. And it's just so good. And our last soap was made by Zulu and is really a fun one. This one is inspired by Stranger Things and the Upside Down. So on one side we have the Upside Down and Hawkins with the city between, and the other side we have the Upside Down trying to escape into Hawkins. So each bar is going to be dual-sided, kind of inverse, just like the Bikini Bottom soap. And this is scented with a combination of aspen woods, so that woodsy forest fatigue scent that we have, as well as werewolf, which is kind of a woodsy, musky cologne. A little bit smoky, but not like cigar smoke or anything like that. It's kind of just that smoky, there's been a fire burned here before. Yeah, a little citrusy too. So, 12 soaps in this release today. We will be doing an additional small release next week with our scrubs because we did not get to those due to vacation. And then all of the bath bombs that we are finishing today will be available. And as well as our Eyes of Fate, which we'll bring one over a little later to show off. So, lots of fun stuff, a few delayed things, but I'm really happy with all these soaps. They've all turned out great, and they're going to be really nice to use. Starting to get into the warmer scents, starting to get into all of the really good, like woodsy, earthy, spicy, just cozy stuff. So this is our collection, and head on over to our website if you're interested in any of these. They are all small batch. All of these I only have 9 or 10 bars of, and we won't be making more until next year. So I know I already have some people claiming some of the Beetlejuice soap, so we're gonna have to see how that goes. Maybe if they're very popular, we'll release a little earlier next year and a few more. But with that, we have to finish painting the bath bombs for the release today. I can tell you Vecna and Bikini Bottom will never be made again. Yeah, hard pass on that. That technique sucks. Is it gorgeous? Yes, absolutely. Is it time consuming and makes you slowly want to destroy whatever you've made because it was the worst? Yes. So, don't recommend that one. Cool, pretty, but no, just no. All right, so those guys are off to the side. We'll lift this back up and get him out of our way. Hey, there's those sprinkles. Now we have some little ghosties to paint. So let's mix up some paint. We're just accenting their faces just a little bit. I want this just a tiny bit darker. Yeah, let's go ahead and go through some of our vacation photos because we had an awesome vacation. For those of you who don't know, we were in Alaska for a little over a week, and Seattle and just in general had an amazing time on the Pacific Northwest and cannot wait to go back. So we're gonna pull up some photos, talk about kind of what we did, where we went, all that fun stuff, and just share as I paint these little ghosty guys. Come on, dissolve, please. I want different. We'll see. All right, so we arrived in Seattle late Thursday night, and it was cold-ish and just wonderful. So we left Houston. It was 112 heat index in Houston. It was awful. Did not want to be there. So glad we left. Best choice of the day. Like this ghost. Like that. But we stayed at the State Hotel, not like 2 blocks away from Pike's Place Market, where we had some amazing food every day that we were there. Friday night? Oh yeah, it was Friday night, wasn't it? Yeah, that's DoorDash for you. So Pike's Place Market is a huge market with various different floors and areas. This is probably one of the most famous, where they throw the fish. And we stood there and watched them throw the fish, and tried the Dungeness crab cocktail from them, which was fantastic. And yes, there's the throw. So you can go and catch it, or they'll just throw it professionally in front of you, and it's amazing. Girl of gold. This mac and cheese is from Beecher's. They claim to have the best mac and cheese in the world, and I'm gonna be honest, I think they're pretty damn good. Their original is very good, but they also have a smoked salmon mac and cheese that is definitely better than the original. Like, it was so good. It had dill and lemon and of course the smoked salmon in it. It was just so good. Better than the original for sure. And then just down the way from Beecher's is the original Starbucks. So this is the very first Starbucks there was, is, ever will be, I suppose. And the line was ridiculous. Did not want to go in. But we stood outside and watched for a little bit as people contemplated whether or not they also wanted to be in line. So that was kind of fun. From there, from the market, we walked down to the Mopop Museum, which is the Museum of Pop Culture. It, you know, this isn't working. It was a really cool museum going over all sorts of different pop culture things, from fantasy to sci-fi to horror. What else was there? There was music, musicians, music design, and then they also had a special exhibit on the movie studio Laika, and they had models and props and costumes and sets from all the different Laika movies, including Coraline, Missing Link, Kubo and the Two Strings, Box Trolls, and I feel like I'm missing one, I can't remember. But they were absolutely amazing. The amount of details, yes, Paranorman. The amount of details on these little models was unbelievable. And they talked about the techniques that they developed in order to kind of advance stop motion and bringing 3D printing and resin printing and computer animation into it to help enhance scenes and remove some of the lines and just overall give a cleaner product. It was really cool, just the scale of these things. Like here in this picture, this is the Coraline house. So instead of just building little back pieces, they actually built the whole house for all of the exterior shots. And it's gorgeous. The details on it are just incredible. So, what else? Oh yeah, this is the largest stop motion model ever built. Not just the largest one they built, the largest one ever built. He's 20 feet tall with a 16-foot arm span, I believe. Just massive. He took up this whole section of the hallway. Just him. That doesn't make a difference. I mean, you should really watch all of the Leica programs because they're all amazing. Yep, so that was just 33 frames, which is, what, like 2 seconds? Not even 2 seconds? Ads. No ads. Then the next day, like, of all the weeks that we're in Seattle, of course, we're in Seattle the 1 weekend a year that they're having BrickCon. And I picked one day, I picked all the stuff we want to do, and I told Zulu, you're going to pick the other day, and you're going to pick whatever you want to do. And he found the BrickCon was there, so of course we went. And we got some Lego sets, and we met the new cast of Lego Masters, and we Zulu got a golden brick, and which is like in the show is like your immunity token. It's like your special thing. Yeah, and so trying to remember all of this, and paint is not working. My brain is like, no. But it was in a little kind of suburban town off of Seattle. The round you choose to use it, very safe from elimination. Yeah. So like an immunity token for that one time. But we met the winner, or we met all of them. I have a theory of who's the winner. So we shall see. I'm not going to share my theory unless everybody wants to know. But I think it's solid. But after that, we went to a part of Seattle called the Seattle Underground. And so Seattle was built on the banks of a bay, and they started construction and like figuring out where in the city they were going to, or where in the area they were going to build things. They decided to do the measurements and all of that during low tide in an area where there's as much of as a 30-foot difference in tides. So the first few days of construction, they figured this out, and they didn't stop building, which is just stupid. And so they built the city, and it would flood and recede multiple times throughout the day. And then they tried to build a sewer system and completely messed that up. And as a result, their city kind of sucked. And they had a fire, and the whole city burnt down. And the mayor at the time, or governor, I think it was the mayor. Yeah, completely backfiring toilets. Yeah, like explosive toilets. The mayor convinced everybody to raise the city by 15 to 30 feet, depending on how it was flooding in the area. And they would do so by rebuilding their businesses at the current ground level that is all the current problems. And then they would build up the streets, block off the bottom part of the building, so you had to take a ladder to get up the street, across the street, and then back down the other side in the mid to late 1800s. And then they've built sidewalks off of the elevated street into the second story of all of the buildings. So all of the buildings had to be at least 2 stories tall. Then in some areas, they filled in the hollow below the sidewalk, and in other places, they've left it open. So there's a whole maze of these like partial tunnels and empty storefronts underneath Seattle. Just like 25 square blocks of it. It's a huge amount. And now there's been a couple of places that they've restored and stabilized, which is where these tours happen. Some restaurants have used the space for things. Some of the stores used the space for things. Like we went into a toy store that had turned it into extra store space. And it was a pretty cool little toy store. But there were just so many problems that they could have solved in like so much better ways that they just didn't, because this works seems to be the motto of the whole project, and I can get behind that. I can support that. But it was really fun, and we had a really cool tour guide. He was a local musician who did this on the side and seemed to enjoy his job. And just the Olympic Mountains are just beautiful, absolutely unreal. It was really nice to be able to sit on the rooftop every night and just watch it. Then it was cruise day. Oh, cruise day. Cruise day is the day where you second guess going on a cruise because there's so much to do. You gotta get up in the morning, get breakfast, get out to the ship. It was actually a pretty smooth process compared to a whole bunch of other stuff that are a whole bunch of other trips that we've done. I think that they've streamlined it over the years because of COVID and all that, and I'll take it. I remember waiting hours in line before, and now it's just, oh yeah, you're here at your time, come on in, we'll get you on the boat. And then you get to the bar, and then you just enjoy yourself. And it was great. Getting out to sea that first night, seeing Seattle from the water. It's a beautiful city. It really is. I really like it there. We should move. We should. Crew's farting again, and I need everyone to know that I'm suffering. Zulu, just get worse allergies, and then you can't smell the farts. Oh, we're calling. The neighbor boys are calling. Grim, are you gonna go? Yes. Our stateroom. Always gotta go with the balcony. The balcony is always the way to go. For seasickness and for just the fact that you're on a boat and sometimes you want to sit on your balcony and stare at the water. So this was a robot bar that they had on board where you either create your own drink or you do one of their pre-mixed drinks. One night we were there and this family and all of their friends and all of their children were just ordering so many Shirley Temples from this poor robot that he had to shut down for a little while because he was out of drinks. But yeah, it was a fun thing. If you ever encounter one of these guys, ask for your drink shaken. We tried shaken and stirred accidentally, and shaken was the better way, 100%. The stirring motion doesn't quite stir it enough, and you're left with just alcohol floating on top. You post in quotes. I can't read this. Well, this is a quote that Zulu really liked from the book. This was one of the cocktail menu books. And yeah, lots of fun. Don't bother with churches, government buildings, or city squares. If you want to know about a culture, spend a night in the bars. Yes, definitely. That's right. I remember that now. And trust me, we do. We definitely do. Yes. More drinks. Always drinks. All the drinks. Day 2 was a sea day, and we did some napkin folding and duck hunting on the ship, and it was very fun. There were quite a few cruise ducks all over, and it was a lot of fun. But next cruise, I would probably bring a more crafty thing. Baby Yoda napkins and lotus napkins and candlestick napkins. Yeah. Lots of fun napkin folding. We also did an origami class, but the origami paper was out, so we just used like leftover pamphlets, and I didn't really like it. Really like the crochet doctor. It'd be fun to bring something handmade like that. Oh yeah, definitely. Next time. Yeah, so there's our origami butterflies. And of course, more drinks. You know, it's a cruise. You pay for the drink package, you better use the drink package. This is when we got to Sitka. Yeah, so this is Sitka. It is a fjord or finger. Once you get past the little frontage islands, it really feels like you're in a lake, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a much bigger town than I was expecting. About 9,000 people there year round, and it swells during the summer by at least 1,000 more people, they were saying. And then, of course, all of the tourists, hundreds of thousands of tourists a year. And so there was this little street with a bunch of local shops and local food vendors. So we tried some local king crab and some local chowder, and bought some stickers and craft supplies from the cute little craft store. Yeah. Zulu bought a Perler book, but really it's like pixel art, so it could be translated to so many things. It was a really nice area. A little drizzly, but it was for most of the trip. But there we connected up with a retired police officer who started doing boat tours because his buddy suggested it, because his buddy does them. and we had an absolutely great time. It was a small boat, so it was us and one other couple who chartered this guy, and we went out and we saw sea lions and otters, and yeah, there's the sea lions. So apparently there's like a bunch of buoys in this whole channel area, and all the sea lions like this buoy. They all fight over this one. And then he took us back to this waterfall area where there were bears fishing. And so this was a younger bear fishing, not doing a great job of it. And then this is the waterfall. And it's one of the waterfalls where the salmon do try and climb the river. And so there were jumping salmon, which you might be able to see one jump in this video. I'm not sure if you can. But it was raining pretty good as we got out there. So, yep, there's a jump. We found these 3 bear cubs and their mom, and this one dawdling behind, trying to snack on everything left on the beach. But yeah, they walked around on the beach for a while, letting us watch them. It was pretty cool. So originally, when we went to Sitka, we had been planning on doing a metal sculpting class where we could basically make our own souvenir to take home. But that class booked up before we got a chance to find it even, and weren't able to do that. So we were kind of sad that we couldn't do a maker's thing. And then we get back to our room after the excursion, and lo and behold, our neighbor is making balloon animals and balloon swords, because that's what she does for a living, like of all the things to come back to. So she taught us how to make balloon swords, and then she made us a balloon octopus. And we talked with them for most of the rest of the cruise. Her son was really nice. They were kind of fun. Yeah, there's our octopus. We named him Henry. We could not take him home with us because that would have been a pain in the butt. But he was our cruise ship room ornament for the whole week. So our second port of call was Icy Strait, Alaska, which is fitting. There's lots of whale watching, lots of ocean creatures and stuff. From the shore, we saw humpback whales, sea lions, and a sea otter all just hanging out around the point. And then we went to a small, this look like straight out of Bob Ross or Thomas Kincaid paintings. Yeah, or Bob Ross, I'd say. But yeah, they were just, there's such a beauty out there. I love it. I've always kind of loved the ocean and mountains and cold. But we went to this little, it was an old cannery town where they used to can salmon, and still do to an extent. And they converted the cannery into some shops with some local made items and more mass market items. And then we went to a crab feast and ate local Dungeness crab, as well as mussels and shrimp and sausage and all that good crab boil stuff. It was really good. And then we made s'mores out in the rain, which was really fun and very silly. And then from there, we saw a tribal dance performance by some local First Nations family that performed the story of the raven and how the their First Nations, or their tribe, believes that the sun, moon, and stars came about. And it was really, really good. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So the only lady on stage. Yeah, the other people are just trying on the bear skins, which are very heavy and very warm. But they have a large bear population out there too, so there's a common thing to have. There were a lot of bear tours there, but we wanted crab and other things, and so we went up and down this gondola that they had that went up the cliff and the mountain up to a nature trail, but it was way too rainy and muddy to attempt that. That wasn't going to happen anyway. But Zulu braved the gondola, mostly, as you can tell. And we had a good time. It was cold, it was rainy, but it was really cool. And I still regret not getting the caribou taco up at the top. Certainly the second biggest ship in Royal Caribbean. Look how tiny. Yeah. It was a big ship. I feel like they tried to cram more on it, so it didn't quite feel as vast of spaces, but there were some really cool things. Like they had a new show on there that they made specifically for that ship that was pretty cool. Oh, this was in one of the waiting areas for the gondola. This is a collaboration between a famous landscape and wildlife artist and all of the small children of the local elementary school, which I thought was really cool. So you can see the expertly done orcas, and there's a moose somewhere on there, and all the backgrounds, and then all the kids added in their own animals. That was really fun. So this day we were supposed to go into the fjords and see the icebergs and the glacier and the pieces cracking off of the glacier to become icebergs, but the weather was so bad that we ended up not being able to get into the fjord safely, and we were up at like 6 a.m. to watch this. So we just saw a few of the pieces of ice. So it's probably one of the biggest ones. And it was really sad because I love the glacier. It's so much fun. But because we couldn't go into the glacier area, we got into port 3.5, almost 4 hours early. So that day we were supposed to have a tour at 3 o'clock, and we got in at like 10 o'clock. So we're like, well, we're gonna just go do something else. So we got off the ship and we got a bus tour, and they would take us out to the glacier and then back before our other tour. So we went up to the other end of the Mendenhall Glacier, which is this one right here. This is not the side that the cruise ship goes down. This one's much smaller, but the glacier has been receding, as most of them are. And but we were able to walk up there, feel the cold water. We hiked up to a small We hiked up a small trail to a big waterfall that was absolutely beautiful. But the glacier is just gorgeous, and that blue down at the bottom is just beautiful. So this is the, I don't remember what it was called. This is the waterfall at the Mendenhall Glacier. It is about a mile each way, and it was muddy, and it was beautiful, but it was a lot. And then while we were along the hike, we saw a seal in the water. He was just hanging out watching people. He was cute. Just watching, ever watching. Typey, typey, typey. I hear all of the typeys. Yeah, our tour guide didn't believe us. He's like, is this far up in the lake? And I'm like, well, it's a glacier. I don't think this is a glacial lake. I think this is just a finger, but I could be wrong. But I know a seal when I see one, and that's a seal. That is not a beaver. Maybe so sweet, yeah. But this was the side of the mountain. There were 4 waterfalls cutting down the side of the mountain there. Just so much water, so beautiful. It was chilly that day, not too bad, but cold enough. And then later that day, we hooked up with our intended excursion, and we went to a sled dog summer training camp. It's where they take the sled dogs, young ones, older ones, and they put a bunch of fat tourists in trucks and make the dogs pull them to grow muscle and stamina and get them in condition like they do year-round. But this is the pre-training season for the Iditarod race. So the owner of the dog sled facility that we went to, he is the great-grandson of the guy who started the Iditarod. And his brother won last year, and he's in for a bid for it this year. And so some of these dogs that pulled us that day could be some of the dogs that are running the Iditarod this year, or I guess it's early next year. But yeah, so they were good boys. They love to run. They're very dirty boys, very stinky boys, but they are athletes, and they just get so excited. They start barking and yelling when everyone arrives because they know that it's time to run. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. If you ever get a chance to experience it, definitely do. There are 2 different ways to see sled dogs. There is the glacier, where they fly you up in a helicopter and it costs like $800 a person, or you can go see them at summer camp and it's like a lot cheaper. Yes, this is Vice Grip. This is Zulu's favorite of the dogs. I heard they poop on the run. Oh yeah, yes they do. Vice Grip does not like stopping and would sit there and bark and yell and jump and trying to convince everybody else, why are we stopped? We have to not be stopped. He was a good boy. Loved his job. This was Whip. They're one of the lead dogs and the biggest cuddle bug of everyone. Absolutely did not want us to stop petting him. And then, of course, we got to hold some puppies. Squirmy, squirmy puppies. But they were so cute. So fuzzy. And then we, of course, we played with the little bit older ones who were in the mouthy, teethy phase. We teased them and played with them a bit. This is our whole team that pulled us. That is Joker on the left and Whip on the right. And I don't remember many of their other names, but this is the whole team. And then we were tired. We did 2 excursions in one day, hiked, all of that. It was a lot. So we were tired. Much needed respite. And just hanging out on the balcony, looking out at the beauty of everything. Our next port, so the next day was all at sea, and I think whatever storm had been in the fjord definitely affected our transit to the next port because it was rough. I've never been seasick in my life, and I was seasick. It was bad. But we got some seasick meds and it helped. It was like 16-foot waves and it was really, really rough. Everyone was a little sick. Even some of the crew were saying, yeah, I don't feel good today. Yeah, 16 feet. Been a long day, guys. Been a long day. My brain is starting to turn to mush. But the next day, we went to Victoria, Canada. And it is a beautiful little city. Every other one we went to was a town, but this was a full-fledged city. It was really cool cityscape. Very artsy city, very reminiscent of like Seattle and Portland, but a little more old world feel to it, even though it's definitely a younger city, as anything in the New World is, I suppose. And we did a beer tour through multiple craft breweries because they are the craft brewery capital of Canada. And we tried beer at 3 different breweries, and all of it was pretty good. Some of it better than others, but nothing was bad. It was all pretty good. I'd happily drink any of it again. But a lot of fun on that trip. Really interesting, like, side streets and street history, because again, most cities on the west coast, even of Canada, are all former gold rush cities. So you've got gold rush cities, train cities, all of that stuff. We had Putin in the last bar that we went to, and it was really good, but I think there's better out there. We did not look for maple beer. We weren't offered any. It was kind of pre-established, most of the beers at most of the places, but they did force us through the gift shop to get through customs. So we bought some maple sugar and maple syrup and some other stuff that I still have to get out of the bag. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, that kind of covers it all. Going back, these are some more photos from Seattle, from the markets. This place where they actually encourage you to feed the seagulls French fries. Good French fries, good seagulls. Quick, are you Canadian? Because I have heard most Canadians call it Putin, not poutine. See, we were over on the western side. A couple of the Canadians that I have followed are on the eastern side. So I wonder if French Canada does it differently. Perhaps because the YouTubers that I have followed, they're both French Canadian. So that is possible that that's the difference there. Because we were in British Columbia. That explains everything. Oh, so many of these. Hello, Madison. Welcome on in. Thanks so much for following. But yeah, that's about it for our trip. Yeah. I have recounted the stories of this trip a lot in the last few days. So, it's been a lot. But yeah, so Halloween bath bombs. I don't know if I'm going to get to the sugar skulls today. Might do those over the weekend. But we are coming up on our streamiversary. But yeah, we're coming up on our streamiversary. So we've been thinking about things to do and what we want to do. We have officially decided that we are going to have that on October 1st. While our streamiversary date is technically the 27th, I believe. 26th or 27th. Yeah, 26th. We'll actually have it on Sunday the 1st. Still thinking about what we want to do, but we'll probably make something. Zulu keeps saying he wants to play a game or something. Don't know about that yet. It feels weird to do a streamiversary that's not a making stream. But I don't know. We got some stuff in Seattle, and we have other projects and stuff, so I don't know. We'll still be talking about it probably up until the day of, but yeah. Yep, 3 years next week. I was just talking with my boss today for my annual review, which feels stupid early to do, but hey, it is what it is. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, how many years have we done this now? Is it 2? I'm like, no, this will be the 3rd. It'll be my 4th year in January. And yeah, it's been a lot. Been a lot going on in the last few years. But yeah, it's all been good. Good stuff. Good lots. Met some cool people through all of this, through the business. Get to see some new exciting places as we travel more. Been good. Real good. So, in trying to get everything ready for today's drop, I stayed up way too late last night, so I'm tired. And I feel myself fading even though we've only been here a bit. Ugh. And plus, we've been away from streaming for feels like so long. Might cut tonight a little shorter, especially since we're not really making new things. Yeah, all of the painting streams until we figure out how we need to do Christmas. We got a little time for Christmas still. Not much. A little. little blueberry ghosts. Blueberry ghosts. They're so cute. They are so blue. They are so berry. Ugh. Ooh, that lemony side is coming out more today. But look at our little ghosties. Our whole little army of little ghosts. So cute. So fun. I have a bit of an announcement. I'll be on with our good friend Mr. ADHD Games for an interview next Thursday, so that's what our stream will consist of that day. Yes, we will be doing a co-stream of that, I believe is the term, and talk with Mr. ADHD Games about ADHD and life and diagnosis and all the other things that come up as that all comes up. But yeah. It should be a good time too. Alright, Zulu, is there anything else we needed to do tonight? We got our release stuff. We've painted some bath bombs. And we have told you all the gloriousness of our vacation. One more thing. We must find someone to go raid. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we need to do? There's lots of typing. We need to send to Love to Anchored as they're doing a big drop tonight too. Yes, they are doing a wonderful drop. They're doing a drop based off of the essential fall watching of Over the Garden Wall. And it is beautiful pieces and some adorable stickers that I am very, very tempted by. So, come on over with us to visit Anchored, and let's see what they're working on as they've got their drop going.